Thanks so much for coming over. We've been friends for, I think, 4 or 5 years, and you moved to Kelowna around the time we met, which was, I think, 2013, 2014, around there. Does that sound right?
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me here today. 2014, yeah, that sounds right.
Okay. So tell us the story of how you ended up in Kelowna. Where are you from?
I'm from Vancouver.
Okay.
I originally grew up in, have you heard of Walnut Grove?
Yes.
So that's in Langley. So it was more of a rural, smaller town, and then I moved to Vancouver when I was 18.
Okay.
And I know you through real estate, of course. So I got my real estate license I was working on my human resources bachelor's degree. And I remember going through that degree and going, you know what, this isn't for me.
Right.
But I'm just going to go through the motions and go through the movement of getting that piece of paper that we've been told is just so important. And I'm happy that I did.
Right.
You know, so I carried that out. Most excruciating time of my life. But anyways, so got my real estate license because I thought, I need to do something. So that was back in 2010. And I can't even believe it because it's like almost 2019 now. What the heck? What the heck? But anyways, and I really I was waitressing, I was finishing my degree, and I was trying to do real estate in Vancouver. Mm-hmm. Now, anybody that's in real estate knows that at that time, that's when the international market in Vancouver that was increasing. So, it was highly desirable that you spoke Mandarin to really be a successful agent. Yeah. And I started in the west side of Vancouver. And then I moved to the Tri-Cities, and I joined a real estate team. It was, end of the day, I found it very challenging to do real estate in Vancouver. So I was looking towards other markets. And Kelowna really struck me as a place that, I've always loved Kelowna. I love it for its natural beauty. There's an energy here, which I guess we'll touch on later, because I feel like the energy in Kelowna has been an important piece of my healing journey, which is like a whole separate story in itself. But I came here because the market had bottomed out in 2013. It was starting to move up again, and I thought, here's an opportunity. And I was very fortunate. I was on Craigslist looking for real estate jobs. I was trying to get a project. Right. And I got one, Green Square, which is how we met. So that's right. And then I just
with the Green Square project. So you did you know you wanted to work in project sales from the start, or you just thought like you need something more steady? It's very competitive as a realtor in Vancouver, as you know. So were you thinking like if you're sitting in an office where you can do project sales, it's going to be more consistent?
Yeah, I did. I tried my hand at resale in Vancouver. Yeah. I got a lot of dodgy listings. It was its own experience. Yeah. Like I really paid my dues. People now are like, wow, you got all these, you get these projects and it seems so easy. And it's like, yeah, but I paid my dues. I mean, I remember I'd get these listings and I don't know if the sellers, like I was so new and so fresh and it was so limited in training back then. Like now they've really enhanced the new agent program. Yes. But back then it's like, okay, you got your license. Good luck. Yeah. We throw you to the dogs.
We learned a lot of tedious facts about, we learned a lot of facts about like land rights in the 1700s and things like that that are kind of relevant. And, people always said like, why are they asking us this stuff? And I think for a couple of reasons. One, to see how devoted you are to learning about real estate, and to see how closely you pay attention to detail. Because we may think something is not important in a contract, but if we don't pay attention, our client's going to get in trouble, we're going to get into trouble. So it's kind of like a miserable test of how much you can focus on stuff that you don't find that interesting, I think. But you're right, until recently, the practical training was kind of non-existent. They kind of just threw you into it. Right?
Yeah, and you really had to navigate it with your own
like daily schedule, self-motivation, budgeting, all those things they don't really teach you. Right?
I really fell in love with project sales once I came to Kelowna, and I did do pre-sales when I was in Vancouver.
Yeah.
I was with the Stella Price, Tri-City. She did in. I'm trying to think of. It's all the higher end, the big on the hill. It slipped my mind, but they have the Street of Dreams up there, and it's over in Coquitlam.
Yeah.
Anyways, the areas slipped my mind, but so I that's how I got into projects a little bit in the pre-sale, and then when I came to Kelowna, I was looking for something more with some more stability, because as you know, resale can be very up and down, and projects are the same way too, depending on the market. But and then ever since, it's just really, it was in the cards for me. Right. I think there's a certain level of, I think, just things, one thing leads to the next thing, which leads to the next thing. Yeah.
Are projects similar in Vancouver to here?
It depends on the project.
Okay.
Each project, there's a similar framework, but it depends on the developer. It depends on the market, how buoyant the market is, depending on your strategy.
Yeah.
If you're with a marketing and sales and marketing company, what's their strategy? Who are you working with?
Yeah.
That's a large part of it.
Like coworkers.
Coworkers, who you're working. There's a lot of moving parts to the situation. I found it to be, actually, in Kelowna, I find it to be much, I don't want to say easier, but it's
more
less
collaborative.
It's just different. It's just when I came here, because Vancouver was a little bit more hectic, a lot more busier, a lot more pressure, and then when I came here, it's more slower pace, which I enjoy.
Yeah.
And it's changing now. It's changed since I've been here.
Yeah.
So
you were looking for jobs on Craigslist.
I know.
Did you visit Kelowna before you came? Like, did you have any familiarity with Kelowna before deciding to move here?
I did.
You did?
Yes. So I already knew I
you liked the city and
liked Kelowna. Yeah. And then it's kind of weird, honestly, and I'm quite spiritual, and that. So I was doing a lot of, that's when I really started to meditate as well. In 2013, I really got into meditation. Things just sort of transpired as they did, and I'm trying to piece together. I was just intuitively, I felt like Kelowna was the right choice.
Yes.
And out of all places to look for jobs and to have in Craigslist of all places, and there was just this little ad, and it said they were looking for a salesperson for a project, and I responded to that Craigslist ad, and then I had a shower, and then I remember coming out of the shower, and I got a phone call, and then
that quick.
And then my friend happened to be going, because he owns a shop here, but he happened to be driving up here that day.
Yeah.
Or not that day, a couple days after or something. It all just worked out, just bing, bang, boom. And then I met with the sales and marketing company. We got along very well. And then...
and that was it?
Yeah, and that was it. And then here we are.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
So how's it been in Kelowna so far? 4 or 5 years now.
Love it. Love it. Best decision I ever made. The title of your podcast, I Love Kelowna. I'm literally keeping this, I love Kelowna. I feel very blessed and very fortunate that I was able to come here and have had the opportunity to stay here, because I understand that employment is oftentimes, it can prevent people from moving to a place that they love if they can't find employment.
Right.
And I've found employment, and it's been fine, and it's also been, besides the work and the employment side, I've actually really tapped into different layers of myself. I've discovered several different healing modalities because I've lived in Kelowna.
Yeah.
And I've joined a group of like-minded people who are quite spiritual, who are perhaps non-mainstream with with what they consider to be avenues of self-discovery.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
Well, I'll ask you some follow-up questions, but I got the gist today.
Yeah.
So, have you always been a spiritual person, or is this something that happened later in life? Like for many of us, it's kind of, we have an inkling or a notion, but something happens in our lives and we say, you know what, I got to start taking my own brain and my own body and my own mindset more seriously and looking into it. Tell us, is that something that occurred all of a sudden for you, or was it something you were always interested in?
That's a great question. And I actually want to thank you again. I love podcasts for the very reason that I love listening to them. But, it's awesome that you have provided people with a platform to show up, and if they choose, show up authentically.
Right.
And really you can dive into the layers of a person a little bit more than, when I see people face to face, do showings and hi, hello, you meet people, you see a certain facet of who they are. But everybody has different dimensions of who they are. And so with this podcast, we're diving a little bit deeper. It's nice to be able to show up authentically and share my story in hopes that, if somebody has gone or is going through the same struggles that I've gone through, they understand that they're not alone. And down the rabbit hole, I listened to that podcast the other day, and that touched me deeply.
Nice.
So, going back to your question, I've struggled with disordered eating since when I was 11. I had anorexia.
Wow.
So it started very young, and it's normal. Like, this is the reality of many male and female people struggle with disordered eating. It's just not always talked about, whether it be not eating, overeating, or having disordered thoughts, binge eating and purging, like disordered thoughts, unhealthy behaviors around food, using food as escapism. So, this isn't, it shouldn't come as a surprise that, this is something.
It's quite common.
It's common, and it's something that I've struggled with. I'm very open, I'm very transparent about it, and I actually enjoy talking about it, because for many years it was very shameful. 11 anorexia, 12 I shifted into, it was like 11, 12, 13, that's when it sort of started, and I did shift to bulimia.
Yeah.
Which, I'm happy to say I've healed from that. I'd say 95% healed. Like, there's still tendencies.
Were your parents aware of this situation?
It was something that it was a double life. Yeah, and that's why I'm so happy to share it today. I'm almost excited, because it's like the merging of oneself and being able to not have those skeletons in my closet, and just confidently being able to say, this is my struggle, but it's shaped me and has created the person I am today. And if it weren't for that, so my pain was my greatest gift, because that's what led me to the path of wanting to heal.
Yes.
And I had to really look within and go really deep to understand why I was creating this dysfunction around food, and what was that about. And it leads to all these cool paths and trails and experiences and healing modalities. And your cat's so cute.
He's great. Very sociable. Well, one of the reasons I'm asking that question is we've got, as you know, you saw the pictures, we've got 3 girls in this house that are teenagers. And I think one of parents' biggest fears is there's something going on that could be prevented, or that, we're supposed to do something as parents. We're supposed to recognize something and help. And you're still quite young. But I'm just wondering if there is something that a parent should be doing. Like, should a parent be aware of this? Or is it just up to the person to go through self-discovery and go through all this pain
and
heal themselves? See, I had to pretty much heal myself, because my parents were kind of completely detached, really. I went to boarding school, an all-boys school for 2 years, and then private school. And we moved like so many times, I really didn't have any close friends. And my parents were constantly passing me off. So the things that I went through as a teenager, I kind of had to figure out for myself.
Right.
But as a father, I'm like, oh crap, I don't want my kids to go through.
Of course.
What I went through, right?
Of course, yeah.
So like, what are some of the signs that parents can look for? Is it preventable?
I don't know. So that's the really cool. That's. I'm going to leave it sort of. Looking back, I wouldn't change a thing.
Right.
And so when I was younger, like my lifestyle habits today are a complete 180 of where they used to be.
Right.
Completely. I am such a different person. But with that comes a lot of, I feel, awareness, empathy. Like my mind is different. So for parents to think that no child should ever go through anything, because I know, I'm sure as a parent you want to protect your children.
It's a natural instinct, but I also realize that you can't shield them from things. Like one of the things that makes me crazy is they kind of have a sheltered life and they think that everything is YouTube and Facebook and
my parents were super authoritarian,
right? And
I'm only child. My parents are wonderful. I love them. They're amazing. They did the best they could with the tools that they had.
Right.
And I needed to figure it out. I'm a free spirit. I'm quite artistic. You cannot try to, tame me or chain me down. I don't respond well to that.
You rebel.
They were very, I was in, oh my gosh, I remember I was in like all sorts of extracurricular. All sorts, from gymnastics to dance to swimming to figure, like everything,
right.
And they were very supportive in the way that they always wanted me to do things to better myself. So a lot of good came from their parenting, but I think that I felt suffocated and I didn't feel like I had any control over my own life, and I perhaps think that could be one component, which kind of provoked the eating disorder to manifest. I don't think it's the whole piece of the puzzle. I do know that there's it's hereditary. There's a specific genetic. It's a hereditary, like it's already placed into a person. It's implanted into a person already, but then there's something that will trigger it.
Yeah.
Right, and that was whatever happened. It was my trigger, but somebody once told me, or perhaps they read it somewhere, and it really stuck with me. A person's greatest pain points are also their greatest gifts.
Yeah.
And I definitely think that, and I can see it now that I'm on the other side. As a parent, I think that it's good to honor and allow children to be who they are.
Yeah.
We've been told for so long, and I've always been told, you have to, this is the life, right, of, do one thing and do it well and be successful. Those days are over. I'm a multi-passionate person, and I cannot be told you have to just be doing this. Like I need to be doing a few things at once to feel stimulated, to feel engaged, to feel like I'm really getting, I'm really extracting from what I can from life. And I think oftentimes we're told to be a certain way, and if we don't think we match up to whatever we're told to be, it creates some internal strife, and unless we have the tools to navigate through that, it can lead us astray through certain lifestyle habits, whether that be, and disassociative lifestyle habits were my game. So whether that's through too much partying or the inability to have food as just fuel,
I can totally relate. My brother, who passed away when he was 29. He actually OD'd. But he was a severe alcoholic through his teenage life. And I know sometimes addiction is because it's the one part of your life you can feel like you're in control of as a young person. For him, he said, I was 17 and I made a drink. And I said, you want a sip? And he was 12. I shouldn't have done that, obviously. But I was a kid. And he said he liked it so much that he was sneaking it ever since then, since he was 12. When people weren't looking, he would make himself a rum and coke, vodka, orange juice. He said it made him feel so good. He loved the taste of it. He was like instantly hooked, and he kept it secret. And so, I talked to him about it, and I said, was it because you felt out of control? And he said, no, I felt good. That's why I did it. So our parents were kind of opposite to yours. They were kind of like, do whatever you want. Just don't get into trouble. You know what I mean? And we hardly
Sounds like great parents when you're younger. Hey?
Yeah.
I was always so jealous of those. Yeah, I was like, ooh, I love those parents.
Yeah. So, there's negative side effects to everything. But I want to explore this a little bit deeper. So you said path to self-discovery has helped you. And your life is 90 to 95% of 180. So I want to explore a little bit, like, you still struggle with it? Like, do you still have cravings for things that are not good for you? And how do you deal with it?
That's a really great question. And of course, I think that for somebody to say they have it all figured out, they're a big liar face.
Yeah,
nobody should have it all figured. Like, I think a part of the fun of life too is kind of the unknown. Like, is that what? Like,
right.
I don't have the answers. I don't hold any for sure answers. But all I know is my own truth. And my own truth is that I think that a lot of the joys that I get out of life is me breaking through my own internal barriers,
right,
and looking back and going, wow, like, I can't believe as life unfolds how much better it's becoming.
Yes.
Because I'm making and choosing to make the decision, right?
Yes.
To love myself. Mm-hmm. And that involves making healthy choices. So with bulimia, it's one of those diseases. They call it a disease. I really hate to call it that, but it's one of those things. There's a lot, it's quite prevalent, and a lot of people don't talk about it. It's very shameful. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people who have it are not underweight, right? There's a lot of misconceptions around disordered eating. A lot of people don't know, they think they know. Going back to Down the Rabbit Hole, I really love the part where she spoke about how people just make comments thinking, well, just don't do it, or why can't you? Snap out of it. And it's like, it's kind of one of those things, you got to go through it, but it forces you to really, you have two options. You can fall into it and let it take over, or you can, for me, I was like, I'm going to pick up my feet, pull up my socks, and let's figure this out, because I'm not going to live like this. I feel really blessed each day to wake up. I've done quite a bit of traveling to know that I feel personally, we live in one of the best, if not the best, places in the entire world in all aspects.
So true. So true.
Access to fresh water, healthcare, fresh foods, just even the landscape. I mean, looking outside today, look at the beautiful mountains, the trees, even a little bit of the fog. I mean, we're just so blessed. I'm not wasting this.
Climate control is one of those things that we take for granted. And, I love to read history. And I think these people were they were freezing their asses off. Like, they slept outside until they could build a house, which might take a year.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I mean? And they had to hunt and you know what I mean? And work the fields for especially in Canada, you got to work the fields long hours because you got a limited season. Right? And then you're spending another 2 months preparing all the food and preserving it and putting it into jars, and you can relax a bit in the winter, but I mean, it was hard. People live so hard, and most of the planet does not live at the level that we live here.
Oh, not at all.
Most of the planet doesn't have climate control. You
can't even, in many places, you can't even go into a public place and expect to have a decent toilet with toilet paper.
That's right.
You got to pay for it, or you got to provide your own toilet paper.
Yeah, or just go on the street.
Or it's just, we're so blessed. I think gratitude, it's daily habits and intentional habits and decisions. Mm-hmm. I'm not perfect in my decision making. Do I still go out and I'm I'm going to have one drink and I end up having several more? Yes, I do.
It happens.
I'm human.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's okay. And so that's a part of it too. I don't need to be so black and white. Things don't need to be so, this is right, this is wrong. It's just habits over time, making those habits a part of the second nature part of my day. Mm-hmm. Gratitude, meditation. I read a lot of books.
Yeah.
The company I keep is very important too.
Yes.
That's a big part of it. This might sound cruel, but sadly, as you grow as a person,
yes,
and there might be people who don't grow with you, and you know, I find that I perhaps don't spend as much time with those people, and it's not because I don't like them.
Yeah,
it's just now we're on.
We need people that are not
pages.
Judgmental or like not harshly judgmental.
Yeah,
but that want the best for us.
Yeah, and you know what? I found an integral piece of the puzzle was just being really transparent. Like right now, it's like, you know what? These are my struggles. And so I have to shape my lifestyle a little bit around knowing that, you know, I have to be mindful. Like I have to make choices. And so I need to be able to have the freedom and feel safe to tell my friends, hey, you know what? I don't want to go out tonight because I don't think I'm in a state emotionally that I should just go through it when I'm at home and have some water and tea and just self-care. And I know that if I go out tonight, I'm going to probably make some bad choices that I regret. And so I'm making the conscious choice now to not do it because I already foresee, and them not being pissed off at me because I quote unquote bailed, right? They're okay, that's what you need. Hope you're feeling better. We're here if we need, and it's just. And
on the other hand, if you have a couple drinks too many, they're not like you're a bad person.
Oh, yeah. Because, it happens, especially when you're in real estate. Yeah. We got to enjoy the fruits of our labor at times, too. And there's so many beautiful vineyards around here.
Yes.
You still got to live.
Absolutely.
But it's all about balance. That's all it is. It's just all about balance.
Yeah, absolutely true. I want to ask you a little bit about meditation.
Sure.
I know I should do it. I've done it. I don't do it nearly as often as I should. And I do think it is an important tool for people in all aspects. I mean, I think it helps with the skills of being able to focus and concentrate. A lot of people don't realize that. But there's a great book that I want to recommend to you if you like audiobooks.
I love audiobooks.
His name is Shinzen Young. So he's a Japanese-American Buddhist monk and a scientist. He's like a PhD.
Cool.
So his parents were very authoritarian and they wanted him to become a scientist. And he found classes boring and he couldn't concentrate and he thought it was stupid and he got into trouble and stuff like that. He decided for whatever reason he was going to become a monk. And he went to a monastery and he learned Buddhism. What he realized was through meditation practice, he can now focus. And if you can't focus, you can't learn mathematics because it's hard. You have to be able to focus. And if you can't learn mathematics, you can't learn physics. And if you can't learn physics, you can't learn biology. And if you can't learn biology, you can't learn all the rest of the sciences. So being able to focus and concentrate is a fundamental life skill that he got from meditation. And his book is called The Science of Enlightenment. So what he did was he combined these two fields and he did scientific studies and research and everything, using electrodes on people's heads and brainwave studies, and shows that all the ancient Buddhist practices are actually scientifically sound. Reduces blood pressure, reduces stress, improves your ability to focus and concentrate, helps overcome addictions. So tell us a little bit about your experience with meditation, because my experience has been, if I don't do it regularly, it feels a little bit boring. I feel like nothing's happening. I feel like I gotta check my email and return phone calls. I'm I feel guilty because my dad was always like, you gotta get shit done, right? And I'm just sitting here. My dad would be really mad right now if he saw me just sitting here. So tell me how you became skillful at meditation.
Sure. So, and I totally get that. You know what? We're all conditioned, our maternal and paternal figures.
Yes.
Under the age of 7, I mean, we're just absorbing so much, and it sticks with us because it keeps recording in our minds because that's the program that we've downloaded as such a young child. So it's in our subconscious, right? About 5 to 10% is really what we're consciously aware of, and the rest is, subconscious, unconscious, and it's really running the show.
Right.
But our conscious mind keeps trying to tell us what we think we know,
Right.
But subconsciously, that's, a lot of self-sabotage, addictions. And
it's rationalizing.
Yeah.
It's like, I deserved to get wasted tonight.
Oh, yeah.
I worked really hard.
And to the point where you then disassociate, it's the whole other...
Yeah.
There's a takeover at some point, right?
Yeah.
But I got into it because I knew I needed to make a change. With anybody that struggles from disordered eating, it's a full-time job to manage. Mm-hmm. It really is. And you do feel quite oftentimes as if you're living a double life. Mm-hmm. And typically, those who struggle with disordered eating also have tendencies for perfectionism, anxiety. There could be other dependencies mm-hmm. that are coupled with
the eating.
It starts to it can get overwhelming, mm-hmm. And so I've always been into self-development, and I've always had the mindset that, I've always really appreciated my life. Mm-hmm. And I've always strived to do the best that I can. I always want to be the best version of myself. I think that's a lot of, I want to say, I think everybody, I don't want to, probably not everybody, but I think quite a few people are like that. And I just thought, I need to do something. Yeah. I can't keep living like this. And I heard of meditation, and I've always been spiritual. Mm-hmm. Or felt that there was something more, and I just thought I'd give it a try. But guided meditations on YouTube, mm-hmm. that was my first step. So instead of just sitting there, because I've tried, back before, I couldn't get my mind to stop, the monkey mind. It would just chatter and close my eyes and try to focus on nothing, and then, I gotta take that laundry out and put it in the dryer. Yeah. So you get up and do that, and then close my eyes, and the phone rings. Well, who's calling? Yeah. I should put it on silent. Close my eyes. What am I going to eat later? Yeah. Or something, right? There's always something that comes up. How do you get
past that?
So the guided meditations I found, where I followed somebody's voice, really helped me, because I wasn't really focusing on nothing. I was still focusing on something. Yeah. There becomes a point and it's very much an experience. So as much as I can try to articulate it, I think it would do a person better to just go on YouTube and go, beginner's guided meditation. Mm-hmm. Or they can go onto my blog, because I do have a blog, yourbestbeing.com, and download my free audio. Okay. The guided hypnotherapy. We'll put links on that. Yeah, audio. It's the same as hypnotherapy and hypnosis and meditation. There's a lot of overlap. It's pretty, we'll get into that maybe another time, but yeah, that's what I found was helpful, is just starting with the guided, and it might take a few times too, but you feel relax.
Better immediately. Tell us about some of the changes you noticed in yourself. Is it changes, or is it more like an awareness? Like, this is what's going on in my brain. Like, tell us what changed with you from doing the meditation. It's not just a passive thing, right? Like, it does change you.
It does. It's incremental changes over time. It's not like you do one meditation and you wake up and you're just a different person, brand new life, what problems. Meditation works with you mm-hmm. to reprogram your subconscious mind. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then there's greater awareness for breath. It slows you down. Mm-hmm. Even giving yourself that space to just be is really important. Just being present, you're in the moment. Yes. The idea is to not think about the future or the past. You're just in the moment. You're focused on your breath, your body, and you just let go.
Yeah. Being in the moment helps in sales. It helps in everything.
I just found, I'm more focused. Mm-hmm. I feel that I make better choices just because subconsciously it just is. Yeah. It's hard to articulate. It just is. I invite anybody who has been thinking about doing meditation but hasn't tried it yet to just quickly go and do a guided audio. And today, now, not tomorrow. Not on next week, or that's one thing I've really gotten to the habit of doing. If I think about doing something, I've always been but just do it. Yeah. Don't make it a big,
Yeah.
I mean, everybody has a phone. You just go to youtube.com and then you can just type in guided meditation.
Yeah.
And you can there's 5-minute meditation. I do usually it got a little bit out of control. I'd wake up when I first woke up, because I'm between the theta and delta brainwave, which is, you're already in a deepened state, and apparently you absorb more. I think you absorb more.
It's hard to explain.
It's hard to articulate.
I think self-awareness is a great thing, because we get cravings to do things that logically we know is not a good idea, and then we do them, we rationalize them, and I think just being aware, okay, this is happening, this little thunderstorm is going on in my brain right now, but I can see it. I can kind of get a little space from it and see what's happening.
Yeah, like, have you heard of the compound effect? You know, that compound effect? Yeah, so I mean, it's just another healthy habit, another tool in your tool belt. Just like it's important to eat fresh foods and exercise, it's important to feed your mind with healthy thoughts and exercise your mind. So a lot of times we're so focused on our external, but we forget about what's inside. And so, I mean, that's what meditation does. It's like an exercise for your insides.
Yes.
To really simplify it in that it's the healthy eating and exercising for your mind, and for me, for my spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you do it daily?
I try to. Lately, I've been slacking. Just being honest, with Christmas and the season, it's really busy. I haven't been doing it as much as I typically do, but ideally, I do it every morning, and then even before bed. Then that's also followed with gratitude journaling. Yeah. Daily reflection.
So are you running business now with the self-help in your website?
So,
or are you just sharing information at this point?
The life of a multi-passionate person. So I've been really busy with projects that I've been doing for real estate. I'm also just starting a home renovation project.
Oh, at your home?
At my house. And so I actually am a registered clinical hypnotherapist as well. So I took some time off from real estate, and I was I was really into meditation. I got into hypnotherapy. That was actually a part of my healing journey with the eating disorder. I did a very intensive hypnotherapy session with a lady who specializes in hypnotherapy for disordered eating. So I went to see her, and that inspired me.
Is she in town?
She's not. She's in Burnaby. But what's cool is I was really happy that I went to see her, and then I could see the gaps just because she didn't suffer from it herself. So sometimes you need to be in it yourself to know if that
fully understand.
Totally. So, but that was a great starting point. That was a really great starting point. And then so I went, and I wanted to learn more about hypnotherapy. So I did. I went through the entire course. I took some time. So I was doing some coaching and hypnotherapy, and the online business model excites me as well. I love, again, really multi-passionate person here. So I started my blog, and it was a hobby / kind of a business, but I didn't. And then I went back to real estate for a bit. So we'll see how it unfolds. I'm still really trying to figure it out. I'm really into self-development, but I think for me, deep down, I really want to be an active part of eating disorder healing journeys for people.
Sure.
How did I even say the healing? I mean, I know you'll edit this hopefully really well. So, but I want to. If I'm to look back at my life, I want to feel like I did some sort of a contribution. Yeah. And again, touching on my greatest pain point, what I've been through, I think that I can really give back to a lot of other people who struggle with same or similar.
Definitely. And you have a story to tell. Yeah,
at least provide them with the tools. I know what it's like to be, and I know how challenging it can be, especially you can't abstain from food, so you got to get it under control. Yes. I mean, we need to eat to live. So if you don't know how to manage that can be, it's not like if you're struggling with alcohol, you make a conscious choice to not drink, and then it's hopefully not as tempting, and which is another thing too, because I think that
food disorders can be one of the most difficult things because we can make a conscious choice to keep alcohol out of the house, not go to bars, but we can't keep food out of that.
And food is very social. Well, same with drinking, but I mean, there's a lot of, for family gatherings, and that's a way you connect with others.
Yeah.
It's always been like that through food. So if it creates anxiety for people, it's hard to connect. And anyway.
Can you tell us a little bit about your home renovation project? What are you trying to do?
Well, I just love.
Do you like transforming spaces?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. And I love being creative. That's a really big hobby of mine or passion of mine or whatever you want to call it. It's just creation. Creation is just, it excites me. It's like, let's get going. Anyways, I'm starting with the kitchen.
Yeah.
So I just picked out my stone. So I'm going to actually... I'm going to take some befores and some afters, and I might even post it on my blog. For me, my space is such an important, you spend so much time in it. And I noticed you had a Feng Shui book, so I as well am into Feng Shui.
Yeah.
And
it's exciting.
Your environment,
it's exciting to see it change.
Yeah, your environment, for me, my environment really supports me in my life. It's just really important that I come home to a space that I love and that suits me. And I've been there now for like 5 years, so it's time to change things up a bit. I'm really excited. I wish I could show you some pictures of what I want, but I put my phone in my purse, so I don't have it. But I'll keep you posted.
You can text me.
Yeah, and so it'll be nice. It's just something for the next few months.
It's exciting.
Yeah, I'm just going to go kitchen first, and then I'm going to do kitchen, bathrooms, flooring, refacing the fireplace.
Would you say selling lots of real estate has helped you to kind of learn what you like and what you don't like as far as like layouts and colors and...
I would say so, yes.
Yeah, because you see so many people make choices, and then you're like, I'm scratching my head. Like a lot of times I think, okay, I know this person, I show them a house, I think this is going to be perfect, and they're like, I can't stand it. And other times I think, they're not going to like this because it's, too close to the road or whatever. They're like, you know what, we love it, we want to make an offer. And it's really fascinating to me to see how people make different choices. My mom and my uncle were interior designers, and they were super talented, but they would get drunk. We would go out for dinner, and they would get drunk, and they would start criticizing the place very loudly.
Oh my gosh.
And it was super embarrassing for me, but I learned a lot of things. They're like, they put up this stupid picture, which is a lousy picture, like it's the Mona Lisa. You got to crane your neck to see it, because they put it way too high on the wall. But they would say this so loudly that I was just like, kind of cowering.
Super embarrassed.
But their aesthetic principles were correct.
Yeah.
But they were just a little bit obnoxious about it. But to me, it's so fascinating to see how people put things together and what really turns them on, you know? And there's so much variety. You can be technically correct and have a totally different taste than someone else,
Yeah, well...
Is your style like more modern, would you say?
Definitely more contemporary.
Yeah.
I like a lot of mid-century modern furniture.
So like 1950s, 60s.
Well, the thing is, it depends on the space in the home. So I'm just going to generally think about a person with their design. Like, I have more of an Arizona style home. Right. So I want to make sure it's from outside to inside, it looks cohesive. So there's certain things I might do if I had more of a traditional style home that I wouldn't do in this house. But I'm going with less is more for me too. There's a quartz Cambria pattern, so the stone with the waterfall, and then it goes up through the backsplash. So very clean lines, very timeless. I like things to look like a show home. Yeah. And it's fine. I'll just say it. Am I slightly neurotic? Yeah, I'd say I'm slightly neurotic. Things have to be a specific way. It makes me really happy.
Yes.
And so,
Yeah, well,
I'm hoping
you've got that perfectionist in you.
Yeah, right? And I have the vision in my head. That's the thing. I already see it. I already see everything I want to do. And I hope it turns out.
Yeah.
Like, I hope they match the seams of the stone properly.
Yes.
Like, that's...
And you'll be on their case if they don't.
Talk about first world problem. Like, how lucky am I? Like, my biggest concern is, are they going to match the seams of the stone from the backsplash down to the
you kind of have to hover, you have to hover
the waterfall
a little bit to make sure they do that. You know, I saw my mom do that many times, and you know, the workmen be like, "Why are you standing here?" And she's like, "I'm concerned about the
have to
grout.
micromanage." Yeah,
I'm concerned about the grout. But
they're coming to template.
I think it's really a wonderful combination of qualities. Like you've got your parents' perfectionism with your creative and free spirit, and if you can combine those two in a healthy, balanced way, it's a really beautiful thing. And you're gonna make a beautiful place.
It's all you know. At the end of the day, like, we're not here for a long time. We're gonna look back and just go, you know what, like, does it even all? So I'm having fun with this, and I'm really excited. We'll see where it goes. I can't wait to provide you with the photos. You can come over for a glass of wine.
I can't wait.
Yeah, you and your girlfriend, and everyone's invited.
Awesome. Who would you like to nominate to come on the show?
I have 2 people.
All right.
Mark West.
Okay.
With Epic Real Estate.
All right. I'm going to meet Mark West for the first time on Wednesday. Tell us a little bit about Mark, why we should look forward to that.
Well,
interview.
Mark is just he'll be a great person to interview, particularly because, especially since you're in real estate, and
he runs Epic Real Estate.
He does. Right. So he started Epic. He'll give you the full meal deal.
What do you like about him?
You know what? Mark's a great person. He's actually, he's a good person. And, you know, we get along really well. And he'll be able to share his story better than I can share his story.
Sure.
But intuitively, I feel like nominating Mark is a good choice, because I think that he definitely has stories to share.
Great.
Most definitely. And then I nominate you.
Oh, wow.
I nominate you. I don't know. I could try and interview you. I don't know how good I'd be with interviewing.
So I took a public speaking course a couple of years ago, and they said, when you're talking about personal trauma that you went through, you kind of have to be past it. Like the audience should never be concerned for you. Like, it could be a very touching, moving story, but they got to feel like you're past it and you've learned from it. Even if you cry, like on stage, you got to be like, they shouldn't be like, oh, should we go up there and give her a hug? Like, you have to kind of be past it.
Right.
And so, like, for example, like we were talking about your teenage years, and you didn't fall apart. Like, we were able to have a very open conversation.
I'd love to interview you. I think I could,
I think you could.
I think so too. And knowing you too, just because I get, like, my soul sees your soul. Like, do you know what I mean by that? And so what I love about you as a person is the level of depth that you have. Even with, it's more than just the surface. And that's, I think, why we connect so well, because it's not, there's topical, like very surface, and then there's some deeper layers of connection that sometimes are unspoken. It's not even, and so so I could come up with some really good questions, and then and they'd be really deep.
Yeah.
And I don't know even, like, you could post it or you wouldn't, or.
Yeah, well, let's do it.
I'm excited, actually, digging into those layers. But I already know from just the tidbits you've shared, you have such an interesting story to share.
Definitely. Well, I really appreciate that. And that's why I always want to, when you nominate someone, I want you to give a little preview, because it, hopefully the listeners out there are going to go, I got to look out for that episode, because that sounds really great.
Mark West.
That's why
Mark West will be a great episode. Luke, you'll be a great episode. Yeah.
Awesome. Andrea, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you so much for this amazing chat, and allowing me to just show up and authentically share my story, speak my truth.
Yeah.
Chit chat. So
my pleasure.
I appreciate
you.
It's
been great.
Yeah.
Luke Menkes is a realtor. He loves what he does. We asked Luke if he had any regrets about moving here in 2011, and he always says, yeah, one regret, and that is he didn't move here sooner. When Luke came here, he didn't know anyone. He didn't know the neighborhoods or anything or anyone besides his daughter, who was 6 years old at the time. So he knows what it's like. Now, he's an expert and has helped well over 100 single people, couples, families, and investors with their real estate needs in the Okanagan. If you're new to our beautiful city, Luke can help you get connected with great lawyers, dentists, carpenters, landscapers, swimming pool installers, you name it. And whether you're new to Kelowna or not, Luke knows real estate. He can help you find a great property, negotiate a good deal, and hold your hand all the way through the process until the day you get your shiny new set of keys. Luke is known as a no-pressure kind of guy. He's had clients where it took even a year or more to get them into a property. He just doesn't believe in rushing things. On the other hand, when you decide it's time to act, he's diligent and he'll work day and night until the job is done. Give Luke Mankus a call or a text message at any time, 778-215-4273. Again, that's 778-215-4273. 778-215-4273 to chat with Luke about real estate.